Don, go ahead and unmute yourself.
All right, can you hear me?
Sure can.
I had a question about the female friends thing because I feel like there's some more like nuance to that kind of topic. I know you're big on the female friends stuff. My question is like, because you say to just basically talk to women like you would like the homeboys or whatever, like just talking to other
Exactly.
dudes,
Yeah.
right? Um, but my thing is like, I feel like there's certain things that you can't really say around women, like the way guys talk around each other that maybe they wouldn't say around females. It might like kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah. And
turn
that
them
and
off or say some
and
weird
no,
shit.
yeah, no
Or
offense,
like,
dude. And that's because you are acting like a bitch. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like that's why. So the problem is this. Like I don't. I'm gonna give you a couple examples. When you're like deliberately trying to like insult women, you're acting like a bitch. I'm not saying you, Don. I'm not talking
mhm,
about you. But when you do that, when you're just like, yeah, I fucked that hoe. When you didn't, or you're calling a girl a slut because she like it's so funny. A girl is a slut when she doesn't fuck you. Like, how is she a
mhm,
slut? She wouldn't fuck you, but you're calling her a slut. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Um, when you get into that situation, Don, and you're like deliberately being a pejorative, you're because what's happening is you as a man, you're insecure. So that's why you're insulting them because you're out of your insecurity. Now, if a girl really did cheat on you, or if she really is a slut, or if she goes on your show and can't figure out how many feet are in a yard, then it's okay. That's a different situation. But I'm talking about just calling girls names for no reason. So if I'm sitting there having a conversation with women and the conversation is it makes them the women feel uncomfortable, that's because the conversation, like I can have conversations with my female friends and they're always asking me about my sex life because they feel comfortable with me because I
Mhm,
don't make things weird. And I do talk to them like it's not like I talk to them like men or women. I talk to them like people. And because of that, I never have this issue, Don. I talk to my female friends about football, basketball, hip hop music, fucking jujitsu. I just literally when I was playing those YouTube videos, Bilzerian just called me. We're going to play paintball at his house tomorrow. Um, like I talked to him about Dan. I talked to him about the parties, whatever. I talk about having threesomes, all kinds of stuff. We have all these discussions. So the fact that you're having trouble having these discussions with women, that's like you need to feel more comfortable doing it. But if you feel like you're deliberately being crass, then don't deliberately be crass. Does
right.
that make sense,
Yeah,
Don?
I'm not saying I'm saying all kinds of crazy stuff, but I'm saying like, for example, I know you were in the military and you know how guys tend to talk like kind of that locker room banter and that kind of talking shit, maybe certain jokes, sexual
Yeah, man.
jokes, or certain things
I
that
have found
like
that
you're
most
out in
lot.
if you were out in deployment or Afghanistan or some I don't know,
I
like the way
I
guys kind of talk when there's no females around.
I have been in Afghanistan with women, and I'll tell you, like, here's the thing. Are there things that are probably inappropriate to talk about in the company of women? Yes. But the problem is this, right? The fact that you have that differentiation in your mind is almost, it limits you. It limits you as
Mm,
the ability, like, I just don't have that issue. I really don't. I talk about all the same things with my guy friends that I do with my girlfriends, and they appreciate it. And in fact, a lot of times, this is the thing. I've said this before, guys. If you have a girlfriend and your girlfriend has guy friends, I don't worry about the guy friends who hit on her. Those guys are not the problem. Women know how to put men into a box. It's not an issue. If you don't believe me, just go watch strippers. Strippers show a bunch of attention to men and don't do shit. Don't go home with them. Don't have sex with them. Okay. I mean, sometimes they do, but most of the time they don't. 99% of the time they don't. Okay. So women can put men into a box when they get hit on. Though if you're a guy and you have female and your girlfriend has guy friends, the ones you should be worried about are the ones who don't hit on her. The ones who are like,
mhm,
she hangs out with her guy friend Steve, and Steve never hits on your girl, but Steve is always surrounded by hot girls. Steve is always going to the best parties. Steve posts incredible shit on social media, and Steve has all the hottest girls following him on Instagram, but Steve never hits on your girl. Your girl, even though she's your girl, is going to start wondering, how come Steve won't hit on me? How come Steve doesn't flirt? It's a really fucking weird thing that happens where you can create with FOMO and jealousy. You know why? Because you treated them all the same and made them talk about themselves. That's all you got to do. You guys want to know the
mhm,
trick, the whole trick. Treat them all the same and make them talk about themselves. And that includes unattractive women. Like I can tell you some of the best cold approaching I've ever done in my life was like a two set where it was clear this one girl was way hotter than the other, but the one who was less attractive, I spoke to them equally the same. And even the girl would tell me afterwards, she's like, one of the reasons why I went home with you is because when you talk to my friend, you'd like talk to us both exactly the same. Treat them all the same. Make them talk about themselves. Treat them all the same. Make them talk about themselves. That is a core module in Men of Action. That's why it's one of the first 10 modules in Men of Action. We go over that concept. Okay. Getting people to qualify to you. So that's what I would recommend you do. Also, there's no subject, even if women don't find it interesting, there's no subject you can't make interesting. You can make any subject interesting if you know how to be a good storyteller. Does that make sense?
Okay. The other thing, as far as like the friends thing, when you're first starting out making female friends and doing all this stuff, like do you run into an issue with like a lot of your clients where if they like a lot of these girls, like especially a lot of attractive women, they probably already have boyfriends and stuff. Like how do you
Most of them
deal
have
with those
boyfriends.
issues? Yeah.
So, guys, I'm gonna let you in a little secret. Janelle, I unmuted you, so you can jump in here if
Thank
you
you.
want.
Okay,
Guys,
awesome.
okay, listen, guys, just so you guys understand, when a woman is attractive, some dude thinks he owns her somewhere. Even if she doesn't, even if it's her ex from way back, even if it was a dude who just flirted with her one time, but usually we're talking about like an ex-boyfriend. Every time
Yeah.
you go out in Las Vegas and you're talking to a very attractive woman, there's a line of dudes who think I'm next or she's mine. Or it could be an actual situation. My favorite one is the girl who like has two kids with a guy, lives with him, and then tells you she's single. That's a very common one here. Okay. She's
Mm.
like, oh, but I'm single, but I don't really see anybody. And then she like literally lives with her baby's daddy telling you she's single because in her mind she is single. Like you guys just have to understand. So when you say, "What if they have a boyfriend?" In my mind, they all have boyfriends. They all have boyfriends. There's like even when I was with Kylie wasn't had broken up with her dude like a month prior, but the dude still was hitting her up like they were together, and she just wasn't responding to him. So like I just want you to know, guys, all of them think there's a dude out there who owns them. Every single hot girl you talk to, there's one
Mhm.
of them out there. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing I want to let you know is if you meet a really attractive woman, and I'm talking about one that is like out of your league, like super attractive, her pastor, her brother, her father, and her personal trainer they don't want you to win. No one is pulling for you. Do you guys understand this?
Right.
As men, no one is pulling for you. No one. Now, I'm pulling for you, and you might have your homeboy, but like nobody woke up this morning and they were like, hey man, I sure hope Don Juan gets his dick wet and gets $1 million this week. No one said that. No one woke up this morning so excited for you to fuck some girl today. No one. And the girl you fuck, her dad wasn't excited about it. I guarantee you that. That wasn't what was going on. So, like, again, like, I just want you to know, guys, no one's pulling for you. I'm pulling for you, just me. But, like, for the most part, no one gives a fuck. And so
Yeah,
you have to understand these concepts. Does it make sense?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's just to add something to what you said, Michael. I think it's so great that you have these calls, and I just was like agreeing with a majority of everything you were saying, really everything. I think just as a woman myself, being a lot of you don't know my story, but I started off in Vegas in the adult entertainment world, not porn, but stripping, and got out of that life and found my whole spiritual awakening, and but really teach the metaphysical principles. It's not woo woo. Like my stuff is science based, all that. But anyways, dealing with men in that walk of life, in regular walk, in my clients now, and in marriages and things, I noticed that for me personally, in my relationships, in my intimate relationships, the men who always won or got my attention were the ones who fortune favors the bold. They were the bold men. They were the men who, like Michael was saying, they didn't put me on a pedestal, and they now, I'm not saying they were assholes to me. Like, of course, there has to be finesse, but they treated me like I was just another woman. And even when they had my energy, they would kind of, like Michael was saying, they would like kind of like ignore me. I hate to say it. They would like make me do more work. And then it made me crazy. I was like, wait, why aren't they giving me energy? And so I think that, a lot of the things that he's saying, everything he's saying really is don't be a pussy, be bold. Like, no, like he's saying, no one is rooting for you. And the people that make imprints on the world and the men are the men who go against what every other man is doing. The guys who simp on me, I'm not interested in. It's boring. So anyways, I just wanted to add that little tidbit.
Beautiful. All right, let's get to a more questions. Don, did that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Love
Appreciate
it. Jose,
Thanks.
Jose.
Hey, if you want to connect with influencers, top models, and high status gentlemen, click the link below and I will show you how absolutely for free.